If you're an ADA holder, Cardano very much about to have a huge week. This is ADA price on the daily chart. Some incredible things happening, playing out. We're going to cover this in the last half of this video, but it's a big week for Cardano. So hit the timestamps below. We have a lot to talk about. Navigate to the area of interest of this video that you would like to see, and let's just dive into it. Cardano about to have a big week. Cardano-based decentralized exchanges, MinSwap and MuleSwap, as well as plenty of other decentralized finance apps, will add support for the much-hyped JED stablecoin. The over-collateralized stablecoin is a creation of lead developer IOHK and decentralized payment platform Cody. So we've kind of covered Cody in the last couple of weeks. We've seen Cody moving on the charts. This is a really big deal because this launch of JED stablecoin has just been upcoming and highly anticipated, not just in Cardano, but I think the crypto community in general kind of having their eyes on this news. On top of that, so it's not just JED, but on top of that, Liquid Labs, an on-chain non-custodial interest rate protocol, is scheduled to have its mainnet launch next week. It acts as a decentralized marketplace for borrowers and lenders. So the reason why this news is so important is obviously a stablecoin is very important for any protocol, right? So Cardano finally getting this is a big deal. JED, this kind of stablecoin that has a different mechanism to it than things like we've seen in Luna. This is total value locked, all chains. And this is kind of where the news becomes a big deal for Cardano. In this, you can call it a race, right, of total value locked. Cardano down here sitting at number 25 right now. So we're going to talk about this, and this is where the news comes into play. Cardano's preparing to launch a new stablecoin. This could be a huge boost for Cardano's DeFi ambitions. Note the title of this article, by the way. Could Cardano hit $1 with this new catalyst? I want to talk about that in this video in a couple of minutes as we look at these charts, so stick around for that. For Cardano, this new stablecoin represents more than just a new product launch. It's the next step of a bold new strategy based around decentralized finance, one of the most important niches of the blockchain world. So the article goes on, once Cardano stablecoin goes live at the end of January, it could immediately lead to an improvement in one of the key metrics used to evaluate cryptocurrencies, TVL. Let me explain one reason why it's so important. TVL is important for many, many different reasons, but the reason that we're about to see is written in this article. Right now, when it comes to TVL, Cardano currently ranks number 27 out of layer 1 blockchain. So this is very disappointing performance, considering Cardano ranks as a number 8 blockchain by market capitalization. I don't know if these two numbers are accurate or not. We just saw this is actually number 25. And in terms of market cap, we can real quick take a look at that. Let's just see where it is. It is currently number 8 if you're using the stable coins that are ahead of it. But the reason why this is important is just look what this said. This is very disappointing performance. Now, whether or not you and I as ADA holders think it's disappointing performance doesn't really matter. The key point is the rest of the crypto industry, the rest of the world that's watching, maybe they see this as extremely disappointing performance. Or maybe a better word would be just not impressive, right? So in terms of Cardano getting mainstream adoption and maybe not so much negativity, maybe not so many doubters doubting it, this is a really big deal. We want to see this metric start turning around. So here we are. It's down here, number 25, and this is what it looks like, right around 104 million TVL. What is going to happen when just all of this, things like JED coming online, what is going to happen to this chart? So TVL, you can see all-time high right above 400 million. It's kind of like the prize on this chart, or I should say the first milestone that we can really start tracking, I think, as we look at TVL across all these chains is the $1 billion TVL. And you can just see right now, Polygon sitting at number 6 at 1.32 billion. So there's 6 protocols above $1 billion TVL on this chart. When will Cardano get there? It's something that could be extremely fun to track this. I mean, we've looked at this chart before and we've said we're going to track this, but look at this bear market. I mean, it's just the entire markets have just been resetting, boring, and things like TVL as well, boring. So we're going to look at this, everybody, but this is huge news going into not only this week, but through this cycle from bear to bull, because as we see TVL slowly increase for ADA, and speculatively we can say if ADA price continues to rise in the long term. Notice I'm not saying just right now we're going parabolic, but even if there's retracement, we keep going. As price rises and TVL, total value locked, rises, these things rise together and they kind of fuel each other. So Cardano blockchain very much ready to explode in that regard as we prepare for this next cycle. And this is what we're going to pivot now to Cardano charts. And this is what we're looking at, everybody. This is Cardano on the weekly. Before we dig into this exact move, the separation from this 20-week moving average, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Coinledger. Everybody, I'm going to be doing a video specifically about ADA and ADA staking and how to track all of these things with Coinledger. It is important. It says crypto done in minutes. It really is done in minutes. In this video, I want to just kind of dig into a deeper layer here. In the back office, we have Coinledger. We've imported our transactions previously in another sponsored video. You can just see them all here. We asked the question, could you just imagine tracking each one of these things? If we dig into it though, and we start going to something like review, check out the review page. You can open up each transaction and you can actually see, when it was sent, when it was received, the change in value and how much was received in value. But on a deeper level, when you go to tax reports, you can go over here and you can actually just look at, if we go to the left, you can see short-term gains on the left and long-term gains. You can actually just click one of those, you can open it up, and you can actually just dive into the data and look at all of the transactions, what was lending itself into this data. So for instance, this first one, and this is a demo account, everybody. This is from 2020, 2021, but you can just look. Cost basis 279, proceeds 476, gains loss 196. So imagine just tracking each one of these transactions for your crypto taxes. And then beyond that, imagine translating everything that you manually tracked to what you see over here on the right side of the screen. Things like IRS forms, tax filing software. You need to get this reporting into your tax filing, right? So things like IRS forms. This is what it looks like. It compiles it for you automatically. So the capital gains and losses, 2021 scheduled form 1040, and you can just see, puts everything that we just looked at into the form for you. Just download it, done. And then things like tax filing software. Did a demo account for TurboTax Online. This is what it does. This is the report. Just breaks down every transaction. So if you have TurboTax or some other tax software that you use, download the report for the software and you can just upload it and it goes into your filing. So everybody, these things are so important. I know I say it a lot and it's probably repetitive. Just I'm extremely grateful to have someone like Coinledger on board, but we're in this crypto journey. Planning for things like taxes, if you want to succeed in this space, it's a huge foundational piece to it. And I really, really believe that. So get your taxes done. Use Coinledger if you're a crypto holder because it just makes it so painless, simple, saves time and money. And I appreciate Coinledger for sponsoring this video. Let's pivot to the ADA charts. This is ADA on the weekly. So first things first, obviously we have this move, the separation from the 20-week moving average, the green moving average that you see going down the screen. It's the entirety of this bear market. Look at ADA. This is exactly what we've been waiting for, just the separation. Even right now in this weekly chart, there's still 5 hours, around 5 hours as I do this video, before this candle closes. I think we're going to close above the 20-week moving average for a second straight week. I want to speculate on this chart how high ADA can go. We just talked about, this headline over here. Could Cardano hit $1 with this new catalyst? I want to talk about that a little bit. But to set the foundation for exploring that question, let's be realistic about where we are right now. We are still, even amidst kind of all the bullishness that we've experienced in previous weeks, we're still at this lower high resistance, even as I do this video. So will this break, or is ADA going to fail at this resistance? And right now it is being tested very heavily as I do this video. So swing high to swing low. Here's a resistance. I know I charted a lot, but this is the key area. This is the biggest area I'm watching on Cardano right now. It's the 39 to 40 cent area at the 786 down to the 36 cents area at the 618. And if we're looking at it once again, look at the confluent resistance at the 200-day moving average. It is no surprise that ADA decided in the last few days or so, to just stall out right here, right? There's resistance. The question is, the rest of today's daily candle that you see, which is green, into the new daily candle. Can ADA pop above this area? This is such a key area. Now, what really makes this exciting is two things also on the daily chart. So there's that moving average, the red resistance, but this resistance is moving right into the apex of this rising wedge. This rising wedge has a breakout target to the upside of around 51%. Remember, according to Bulkowski and his data, he basically says the breakout can be any direction, but actually downward 60% of the time. That allows, based on his data, and it's not exact, it's not guaranteed, but that allows a 40% chance for ADA to actually continue a breakout to the upside, right? 51-cent target for ADA to the upside. Right now, though, this is what's happening. It is being tested at the 200-day moving average as well as the lower high resistance. Remember, we just looked at swing high to swing low, right to this resistance channel. And not only that, when we zoom out, it's being kind of squeezed in between these areas. Zoomed out on the daily chart, we have this white trend line that ADA has recently broken above, and this has not happened the entirety of this bear market. Remember, we put this second touch as the trend line formation just so that we could kind of keep the trend line out of reach. Instead of bringing the trend line down and hitting these swing highs, we kind of made it out of reach, and ADA has actually broken above that area, but it's being squeezed right now between this apex, the 200-day moving average, and that long-term trend line. So it's kind of on the daily chart at a very critical area. I'm watching. Everything is just in this overbought environment. If we go to the daily chart, this is ADA on the overbought chart. You can see on the RSI, slower moving momentum oscillator, it's just kind of cruising in the overbought, kind of peaking back down, up, down, up. And look at the symmetrical triangle forming on this RSI momentum oscillator. This setup is getting just, it's just an explosion ready to happen, a breakout ready to happen. And I don't mean just to the upside. It could be a breakout, a failure to the downside of momentum. So the one caution that we also see on the daily chart so far is just the fact that if you look at volume, there's this decreasing volume. So we really want to see a breakout of volume to kind of break that trend, because we also know, according to Bulkowski, in these rising wedges, the volume trends downward 79% of the time until the breakout. What will that breakout volume be on the daily chart is a big question I have. Is it going to be a big red candle, a big green candle to the upside? So that's kind of what I'm watching. And then if we go to the zoomed in, this is what's going on in the 6-hour chart for ADA. We have ADA breaking out of this very zoomed in ascending triangle, breakout target, 45 cents. And I really want to just kind of speculate if this bullish move for crypto just keeps going, even into this new week, and ADA is just continuing to the upside amidst all the news happening this week, JED, Liquid, all the speculation, people kind of speculating about Cardano. If this happens, 45-cent target to the upside out of the ascending triangle, it's meaningful for a couple of reasons. Number one, we go to this chart. This would be a break out of this upper trend line. So ADA breaking above the trend line and out of this rising wedge. So 45-cent target up here, and kind of giving it some room and cushion for a pullback to the apex and to these trend lines that we have in place for the continuation to a potential 51-cent target. I know it's a very extremely bullish move for Cardano, but if, and this is a big if, S&P 500 continues, equity markets, the stock market continues to the upside, if it's a green week for stock market, there is a strong likelihood it's going to be a green week for things like Cardano. Note this, if we go to the weekly chart, the dollar question, is ADA going to $1? This is where I stand with that. $1 is still a good amount of ways away. In the long term, you all know, if you've been watching my videos, I think Cardano is absolutely going to go to $1. And this is just the way I see things. It's my guess. It's what I'm anticipating, but it's absolutely no guarantee. But if you look at this, I think Cardano is going to $15. I think a $500 billion market cap eventually, I'm not saying right now this year, eventually, I think that's happening. So do I think it's going to $1? Yeah, it's just more of a matter of how and when. That's the question. And I tend to like to be more patient of a player in this crypto game, because we can take this for example. If we go to the last bear market low and we exited the bear market, starting to be a very similar move, just kind of exiting the bear market, not just for ADA, but for crypto in general, swing low to that swing high before consolidation. Let's just take that let's bring it over here, right? And we kind of have this chart here. So obviously, as always, this bars pattern could change the velocity, the speed, the time frame that it's in. But what's like right in the vicinity of the swing high? It's these moving averages, 50-week moving average, 200-week moving average, all of these things, right? So how and when this move happens is up for debate. But these moving averages, I think at the end of the day, is what needs to be tested. Notice where the moving averages are. The 50-week moving average, right around 55 cents, 200-week moving average around 61 cents. That is a huge macro area for Cardano. If Cardano just keeps going, ADA keeps growing on this chart, and it's just green candle, we're getting to this area. At that point, if we go to the weekly chart, we're going to start entering this area of upside on the momentum oscillator that's very similar to what we saw back here in the exit of the last bear market, right? And what happened? Some consolidation. Now, if we get some consolidation after a continued run, we could see a very similar move that we saw in that last kind of bear market exit, which is just a retracement right here, all the way back here to a 20-week moving average. And I always anticipate those things. Never really on this chart, unless it's in the middle of a bull market, are we getting just nonstop green candles to the upside. And right now in the short term, that's essentially what it would take for ADA to hit $1 in the very short term. Is it possible? Yeah. If it happens, I'll enjoy it. But I won't sit here and just say, I think because Liquid and Jed is coming this week, that ADA is going to $1. I won't sit here and say that. That's not my style. It's also just not what I think. Could ADA just see really nice gains amidst a continued crypto rally? Yes. To the moving averages that we just looked at, that's another like 40 to 50% to the upside on this weekly chart. Those are some really nice gains. And if you look back from the swing low, we're looking at 151% gains for ADA. But when will consolidation happen? When will retracement happen? We have to consider that question. At least I like to consider that question as I kind of make my way through my own crypto venture. And what you do with the data, that's completely up to you. But this is just what I'm watching. This is my thought. And on the 6-hour chart, kind of an exciting chart to watch on the shorter term if you're watching charts on the shorter term, because we do have the breakout of the upper trend line kind of coming back down to a moving average on the 6-hour, which isn't that relevant, but into the apex at the very least, and then another breakout right back to the upside. So that could be a bullish indicator for ADA as it kind of tests this previous high that we saw a couple days ago on the 27th or so. So let's kind of see what happens in this 39 to 40 cent area, everybody, because we go back to that daily chart. This is the key resistance right now. Will it prove to just be this huge barrier for ADA on this chart, or can ADA just make an explosive move through that resistance wall and get some separation from it at the same time? Let me know how you're doing out there, everybody. Big week for Cardano. Excited to track it all. Let's see what happens. Time will tell. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.